if you've been beating yourself up for years over things that didn't work out for you, you're not a failure and you're not broken. But the story that you're telling yourself just might be. See, for years, I called myself a royal failure. So many things didn't happen the way I wanted to. Relationship broke up. I made a huge pledge in 2017 to travel the world, be this traveling healer, and then it was cut short. I had a car accident, and then my dream was shattered, and I thought, I promised all these people I'm going to be this traveling healer, and then boom, it just ended. And I thought, at the moment I gave up, I realized I thought to myself, man, I failed. I'm a failure. And I carried that for years. And then it then went into other things, a business venture that didn't work out, had to close it. And I thought, oh, I'm a failure. And then this relationship that I was with someone, and that fell apart. And then it just magnified that story. And then 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I got married. And it was a very short marriage. And we had a son together. And his birth was traumatic. He had birth trauma, and it affected his brain. He didn't get enough oxygen to his brain, and then it affected his movement and coordination, and he got cerebral palsy. And then we broke up not long after that, and it was the hardest time of my life. I just felt like a complete failure. So here I was, a new dad who doesn't live with his son, no longer in a marriage, feeling so much shame and guilt, anger to myself and to my ex and to the doctors for, just how it all ended up. And I was so sad that my son had, this happened to him. And I was blaming and just so much emotion. I was so entangled with this emotion that I just didn't know what to do. And all I could think was, I'm such a failure and I don't deserve to be happy anymore. I don't deserve to be successful anymore. I don't deserve to have the things that I want. I don't deserve to be in a new relationship. So here I was in this pit of darkness, in this cave, and I just wanted to hide away and not have anyone know how much of a failure I'd become. So I didn't want to socialize because people would ask me, how are you? How's your son? And those emotions would just come right to the surface again. And I was just like, I just don't want to talk about it. So yeah, it was really tough for me. And I've come so far since then. I came across this technique called neurotransformation therapy. And, this guy, Luke Hawkins in Australia, he said to me over a video call, hey, if you come over here, do this technique, it's going to be able to release these emotions you're carrying, this anger and sadness and guilt and shame, and also those beliefs that you're carrying about yourself, about being a failure. You can release this and heal this and get your life back. So I was just like, what have I got to lose? I'm really hating life right now. I'm not enjoying it. I'm not living. I want my life back. And I didn't really see how that could happen, but I just was like, I got to give this a go. So I flew over to Sydney in Australia from New Zealand, and then, did this work, and holy cow, I went into this emotional release technique, releasing this anger and sadness that I was carrying, and it was so deep. I actually realized I was carrying anger and sadness from childhood. And once I released that and then got all the lessons I needed to let it go, it was the biggest relief. I'd been carrying this heaviness on my heart for so long, and it just let go. And I just started sobbing there with relief and love. And once the anger and sadness was just dissolved away, all I had was love for my son. And I realized that even though he had gone through this trauma, he's beautiful the way he is, and he's perfect the way he is, and he's okay. I was just so relieved to let go of all of that and to be able to just be present with them. So, now when I think about him, I can just feel that love. And, sometimes I still have I still think, oh, poor guy, he's, what he's been through. But it was more the trauma of the event that I hadn't been able to process, that I could let go and get that weight off me. So, been absolutely life changing. And okay, so for everyone out there that thinks they're a failure because of these past events that have happened, this is just a story. This is just an identity that you've latched onto. And here's the truth: you're not a failure. Okay? You've just created a story with reasons and justifications to back it up, which is exactly what I did. Had all these things that happen, therefore must be a failure. It was almost like a math equation. And you can't see a higher perspective. Like if you talk to people around you, you realize that they have a different view of you than you have of yourself. And quite often people around you are like, if you told them this belief, they'd be like, well, what do you mean? You've done this and this and this. You're not a failure. I mean, maybe you didn't achieve that goal or didn't do that thing, but just to call yourself a failure is incorrect. So here's the truth. You're looking through a distorted lens that you've created, and it's probably been there for a long, long time. So that's a limiting belief. Limiting beliefs are distorted realities and perspectives. It's like we put on a lens and we can only see one thing. Limiting beliefs, we create limiting beliefs when we go through something really emotionally intense, a significant emotional event, and we weren't able to process it, and then we made a decision in that moment, and it just stuck. Okay, good news. You can release the story. You can release the story and move that false identity out of the way so that you can now create a more healthy and truthful and real identity about yourself with new beliefs. Like, rather than saying I'm a failure, you could say something like, I'm actually amazing. I can do this. I don't know. I'm a warrior. Whatever it is. These beliefs can be put in place and instead of I'm a failure, because I'm a failure takes away possibility. When you think about, can I be successful in my business? Then that's in the background going, well, but I'm a failure. You screwed up in the past, blah, blah, blah. And it just takes away your possibilities. So you need to know that you need to get those beliefs out of the way. You need to do the work. You need to rewire those connections in your brain, because neurologically, when we latch onto a belief, our mind and our brain just keeps going down that same track. It's like a train track that your brain just keeps going down. But without realizing it, there's all these other train tracks that you can go down. You just don't know you can yet. So, yeah, the amazing thing is you can shift a belief that's been there even a whole lifetime. So, neuro-linguistic programming is an amazing technique. I use neurotransformation therapy with Luke Hawkins. He's brought together a lot of techniques together. But it all, the main thing is that you go to the subconscious, which is part of your brain that holds all the emotions, limiting beliefs, and identities from the past. It's like the supercomputer part of your brain that has all memories and everything all stored. Because our conscious brain is only about 10% of our thoughts, but 90% of everything that we do, actions, behaviors, it's all run by the subconscious, and it just goes automatically. So subconscious pretty much runs the show. Once you've programmed in, everything, your beliefs and your emotions and everything into that, it just runs on autopilot. So every day, your subconscious is running the show, and your conscious brain just only runs a little bit. So, right. If you're stuck in that I'm a failure story, you need to do the work. Reach out to me if you need some help here, because I've been there. I know what it's like to call myself a failure. I did it for years and years and years. I got into such a massive hole and I found my way out. And I know that you can too. And I've helped a lot of clients do the same thing. So yeah, reach out and would love to work with you. Cheers.